She sits alongside the most storied river in all of North America. And yet, her story is equally moving, equally alluring. For 150 years, she has educated the sons and daughters of Minnesota, and their stories are her story too. Her graduates have argued cases before the Supreme Court of the United States, educated the children of Minnesota's earliest pioneers, practiced medicine at the Mayo Clinic, started successful businesses, administered care to the sick, gone to war, and made a difference every day in communities across Minnesota, the U.S., and the world. The story of St. Cloud State has always been a tale of transformation. For 150 years, chapter after chapter recounts the extraordinary ability of her students, faculty, staff, alumni, and supporters to adapt and innovate in the face of challenging circumstances. From normal school to teachers' college to accredited university, the institution has reinvented itself decade by decade. But even as the waves of change churn, St. Cloud State's mission, remarkably clear and crisp in its wording, to prepare students for life, work, and citizenship in the 21st century, continues to serve as both compass and rudder.
You know, St. Cloud State University has an amazing story, and it's one I'm really proud to share when I meet people. We started in 1869 with just 53 students and 5 faculty. And what's really great about our history is that we were given a charge to start something very new. And that new thing was public education. And our job was to train professionals, train the teachers to be a part of that new movement. So from our very beginning, we were a university that was a leader in providing education that met the needs of our state. And we continue today to have that same story. We're on the cutting edge of providing a high-quality education to our students. So our DNA about starting with a focus on education and being of service to our community continues today. It's a great story.
St. Cloud State to me is so special because of the people. We have amazing people working amazingly hard, all focused on students and student success. It doesn't matter where they are in the institution, it doesn't matter what their job is, they are completely focused on our students being successful and allowing them to unleash amazing.
I do think there's something special in the water here at St. Cloud State. Our story is about how we embrace young people who come to us with an idea about something, but they're not always entirely sure. And then they come through here in the way in which we create community through faculty engagement, through the fellow students they move through their programs with, and through the staff that become mentors and friends to the students, that it really shapes students.
We like to say at St. Cloud State that we unleash a student's potential. And I have seen that happen countless times where a student will come to St. Cloud State unsure of who they want to be and who they will become. And through the very personal and constant interactions with our faculty and staff, our students grow and become productive members of society and interesting adults.
I love that feeling of fall, the buzz in the air and the excitement around campus where you can tell everybody's so excited. Right here at the Herb, the energy in this building on a Friday and Saturday night is unique, it's special. It's, I think, everything college athletics is all about, and I know it's the people on this campus that make that special.
A lot of these students, a good number of them are first generation college, and so they're the first ones in their family to go to college and get a degree. That is a really special thing, and that's why I really enjoy going to graduation, because it's a big deal for these families. There's a lot of emotions, you know, here and there, some tears. It's a real game changer for these kids.
When you're first generation, you're leading everyone who's coming after you, and a lot of them are like nephews and, you know, your own children, and, you know, even my younger siblings, and it's amazing to be able to make that an impact in their lives.
So my dad, he calls me Shorty, so it'd be just like, yeah, I'm proud of you, Shorty. Like, you're the first in the family, go out there, graduate, go out there, go to school, play ball, get a 4-year degree. You know, you got experience that none of us ever had that you can go give to your children, and then in turn, you know, share the stories that you had to us.
I was able to participate in a fraternity, which helped me develop social skills. And the fraternity itself, we as a fraternity were quite active. Improving your level of sophistication or your ability to think outside the box became important. It was a good education. It was part of the education.
When I first heard about St. Cloud State, I didn't know what it was. But then coming out here and actually seeing the community, you notice that it was a lot more diverse too than you would have expected. Just having that aspect too makes a big difference because it makes it feel more welcoming.
I'm so proud that we finally talk about sense of belonging. When kids come to my lab, when they work with me, I would think why they like to work so much with me, because immunology is very, very hard. So why they so much like to work with me in such complicated area? And then I realized it's sense of home. My lab is their home. I think that's fantastic. And I love that now we are even having initiative to really even more emphasize that sense of belonging. Because when you feel at home, that's when you basically perform.
I take really seriously our responsibility as an institution to contribute to education in the state of Minnesota and nationally, and we have to do a good job of that. There's babies in schools who need us to do a really, really good job at that. And the thing that I take pride the most in is our students.
Professors like me, PhD, 10 years of experience teaching, are talking to you one-to-one.
I know my students. When you write a letter of recommendation, you know heart and soul of that student. It's personal. It's not like generic blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, that's my kid and he's best in this. This is maybe a little weakness, but you know, we work on this, but that's the student that you want to describe.
You know, there's a lot of ups and downs when you're in sports, and I think it teaches them a lot of things. We teach time management, commitment, adversity. When things don't go our way, how do we rebound back from those kinds of things? And I think it sets them up for their experiences in the workplace.
There was times where I remember being up at 3, 4 in the morning, not being asleep, troubled, and I was able to text Coach Sipple, and I was actually able to go in and meet with him at like 5 a.m. before we had workouts at 6 a.m., you know, just to have a conversation about personal things, about transitioning in life, how stress was starting to pile up on me, and that really helped me a lot. I think about a month after that, like I was back on my feet, running high horse, you know, smiling again, and knowing what I was here to do and what I was looking to do in life.
There was a point in one of the semesters, it's the second semester of the program, it's generally considered the hardest semester, where the whole class was really starting to struggle and just be kind of tired and beaten down. And one of our faculty members came in one morning and said to us, look guys, I can see that you're struggling right now. You need to know that we are all here to support you, and we are dedicated to your success and making sure that you're thriving and not just getting through this program. And that really stood out to me in the commitment to students, not just in terms of our grades and our coursework, but us as individual people.
Be all in. The more you put into things, the more you get out, the more you grow, the more you learn. Leaving St. Cloud State, that's what I learned here, and I took that to my career, because in the education field, you can show up, teach your kids, and leave, and you still get paid, you still did your job well. With what I learned at St. Cloud State, I've joined like book studies, I've helped with after school events, and all of that is not necessary, but it just helps you and it makes you love your job more, and I don't plan to stop doing that.
I love hearing from our alums who are teaching in India or who have just graduated with a doctorate or who are composing music for their communities. Our students are exceptional in their ability to find ways to give back into the communities that they live and work in.
Social justice. I have always been passionate about social justice. So taking courses in human relationships prepared me to be passionate about social justice issues. And I also founded a social responsibility club when I was on campus, and we organized Boycott the Bottled Water Day. So that was a great experience for me in the real world.
I think the students learn the importance of their role in being a productive citizen, and that it's not just, I'm gonna go make money, it is, I have a responsibility to the greater good and to be contributing to the greater good as a productive member. And that's a big theme here.
I see St. Cloud State as preparing me for success as a citizen, as a person, and as a nurse in my career. The key elements of that was the diversity of experiences offered here. And that's not just unique to the nursing program. I see that throughout the St. Cloud State community, offering students a diverse environment to thrive in and a diverse range of experiences.
St. Cloud State feels like home. It immediately feels like it draws you in and makes you a part of it, and it doesn't matter if you've been here for multiple generations or just a few days. You immediately know that your perspectives are welcome and that people are here to help you, and your ideas, they're appreciated here.
Jim and I are from very modest means. We grew up in the rural area. We are both number 9 of 10, and we're the first ones in our families to be able to attend higher education. And so I look at central Minnesota and I see a lot of families, same situation. I'm just happy there is a place where people from big families, poor families, can afford to get an education and get their kids into a college and a university.
I've been successful beyond my wildest imagination, and why shouldn't I help other kids who are maybe economically disadvantaged or culturally disadvantaged? Why shouldn't I help them? For me, once you get to a certain point, money is no longer the scorecard. Putting something back into the system is of greater importance to me than just piling on more wealth in my personal pocket.
You know, with these scholarships, it really helps out, and I think, you know, it's one of the reasons why I'm graduating. If it wasn't for having these amazing people, these donors who, you know, who I see them as like guardian angels.
Even though we can't project what St. Cloud State, the campus, might look like in 150 years, one thing will be certain is that mission, that common thread of providing access and avenues for students to realize their dreams and to pursue those opportunities, that I do believe will remain a constant thread in St. Cloud State's history for the next 25, 50, 150 years. And so that gives me a lot of optimism, keeps us fueled and keeps us powered today to continue to do our good work.
As St. Cloud State prepares for its next 150 years, it does so knowing that it must deliver the kind of relevant education that its students will require to be successful in a rapidly changing, technologically enhanced, and increasingly global world. Made relevant once more for our era, ours is a mission in which faculty, staff, alumni, friends, and our community can take enormous pride. St. Cloud State has, and always will, unlock the potential of every student it serves. And in the years to come, our graduates will continue to play an important part in moving Minnesota, our country, and our world forward.